Amber Mack, and welcome to the Great Canadian Pivot. This is a series we've been doing for the past few weeks where we profile Canadian businesses that are pivoting right now during COVID-19. We've had so many incredible conversations with people all across the country, and I'm so excited for our next guest. She is based in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. She is also the winner of Her Turn, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. But while she is waiting for us on Skype, I wanted to say hello to Alicia Esmail. Hi.
Hey there, Amber. Always good to connect with you.
It is so great to chat with you and talk about what's happening right now at Road Coffee. Before we get into that conversation, tell us when you started Road Coffee and what the business is all about.
All right. So yeah, we started Road Coffee about 4.5 years ago. It came out of my passion for wanting to make an impact with coffee farmers. And so since we've started it, we've launched a microloan program that's been really successful so far. And we roast coffee locally here in Saskatchewan and send it all across the country.
So it's a very competitive business, and I should also say that I first came across your business and your name because Amber Mack Media was doing a competition in the fall of last year called Her Turn, and we had hundreds of women from all across the country who applied to potentially be the winner of Her Turn, and we had a big finale in December of 2019, and during that finale, which we have some footage of here, we were really excited, of course, to have a live audience and 3 businesses that became the finalists and a great panel of mentors as well. And during that live finale, you were crowned the winner of Her Turn. It was a fun and exciting moment, and also during a time when we could all be face to face and hug and embrace each other, which is always nice as well. Let's talk a little bit about what has happened since then with the business and maybe that moment where you recognized when the pandemic was declared a pandemic and you knew that, okay, we might have to switch things up.
Oh, yes. It's been quite the journey. So I think for us, we started getting some signs a little early because we work internationally and our suppliers are all over the world, from packaging to of course, coffee itself. And we started seeing the supply chain slow down. We've been trying to launch our new packaging actually for our products for a few months now. And we started seeing that delayed before we really got hit here in Canada. And so I feel like my intuition kind of kicked in a little early, and we were lucky to kind of get a jump on what was happening here.
When we talk about the coffee business in general, I know we don't have a lot of data around this, but this is more my assumption that people are drinking more coffee than ever because we're all isolating at home. How has that changed? And I mean, do you have any better data around that, or is it just what you're hearing as well?
I think our sales would be the data that I would reference. We're definitely seeing and hearing from people about their coffee habits at home. I think it's also a fun activity for people to try and get into craft coffee and learn how to make coffee through different brewing methods at home. We're seeing a lot of people uptaking pour overs or AeroPresses and just different methods they weren't using before for making coffee.
When we talk about pivoting during this time, I know at one point you were focusing on in-office sales, and that was definitely a priority in terms of recognizing that there are plenty of offices across the country and around the world that need to have coffee. I know that you have switched a little bit, and I know you've still done both of those things along the way, but to the at-home subscription service. Can you talk about that demand and what you've been able to do? Because I have been so impressed with all of your marketing efforts and seemingly ramping up social media. How has that been for you over the past few weeks?
It's been a journey. It was really strange to go and have 95% of our business put on pause with our corporate clients. So we had to move quick if we wanted to make sure we were okay through all this. And we just jumped on our socials. That's cool that you mentioned that. You've seen it ramp up. We just started promoting our online sales. We started coming up with fun ideas, doing a lot of giveaways, partnering with some people locally. We started doing these coffee drops that were kind of cool, where we were dropping off coffee at places that needed it, that were working hard, from the hospital to, um, AIDS Saskatoon, or other local places here. And it's been really fun. Um, One thing I should mention that was really cool is local creatives, other people across Saskatchewan started reaching out to me asking if they could help create content during this time because they were at home and needed something to do.
Oh, that's very cool. So really kind of user-generated content that people could contribute and share as well. I think we've seen a lot of businesses, particularly small and medium-sized businesses, that for the first few weeks after we got into recognizing that COVID-19 was going to change our lives, they sort of went into almost a quiet mode or on pause in some ways. What benefits did you see from continuously engaging and reaching out to your community?
I think it showed our audience and our consumers that we're present, we're here. Yes, there's a lot of uncertainty. We're not sure what it's going to look like, but we're in it together. And I think that went a long way.
So when you're looking at the next few weeks, that's one of the things I know has been really interesting about doing this series, is that I know many founders like yourself are constantly kind of on their toes and pivoting and planning, and you really need to be able to react quickly. So as we head into almost officially the summer in a few weeks, where do you think things are going to go for Road Coffee?
It's an interesting question right now, and I feel like the answer can change pretty quick depending on the day. We are focusing on our online subscription right now. People are drinking more coffee, and it's a great time to be able to offer people great coffee at home. And so here at Road, we've started saying BYOB, be your own barista. So we're going to be training people on how to drink great coffee at home, as well as pushing our cold brew that we just launched this last week.
Yes, I personally had to ask you about the cold brew because I'm a huge fan. I don't know if you're shipping beyond the borders of Saskatoon, but let me know about that in a message afterwards. Because I think that's, again, I think it's good to see businesses like yours that are expanding and thinking about these new opportunities. Can you talk a little bit about the subscription business and that shift in marketing to individual consumers? And I also would love it if you would talk a little bit about the story behind Road Coffee, because you're not just another coffee company. I mean, there's also the sustainability part of your business, which I think is so incredibly important.
For sure. The subscription base is a great opportunity for us to connect with the individuals, even within our corporate offices. So all of our corporate offices, if you're with them, they actually get a discount for each individual that works there. So now they can get a discount on their home subscription. We love for people to be a part of the story, and that's something we've always wanted to do. And so maybe ironically, this whole pandemic thing will help us tell our story better to the individual. Our story is really interesting in the fact that we do work directly with farmers to help problem solve their needs. And one of those big needs, it comes through just access of finances, which is why we launched the microloan program. And it's been interesting talking to our farmers throughout this pandemic. For us, it's a little different here. When things are tight, when things get scary business wise, there's always ways out. Even in Canada, we're so lucky that our government is providing so much help to us, especially, being in business. There's a lot of opportunity there, but for our farmers, they don't have the same resources and access as we do. And so even in this time, we're chatting with them, seeing how we can come alongside them. And we're still gonna commit to the same amount of microloans and projects, even despite the COVID-19 situation.
So when you're going through this period, I know this is something a lot of founders who I've spoken to over the years, they tend to look to other businesses for inspiration in terms of being able to deal with any type of crisis that has come their way. I was just chatting with Guy Kawasaki, and we were talking about perseverance and how important that is. Who are those brands and businesses or founders who you look to right now for inspiration in terms of getting through what is a really difficult time for so many small business owners?
Yeah, that's fair. There's a few that I try and keep a pulse on. Simon Sinek is one of them, and he said something at the beginning of all this that kind of stuck out to me. He was talking to his team in a Zoom call, and he actually posted this, and he says to his team, you know, yes, we are in unprecedented times, but at the same time, when it comes to business, we're not. Business constantly changes. You know, Uber changed the taxi game. Airbnb changed the travel game. And so he's like, yes, this might be different, but from a business perspective, we can't rely on what worked in the past. And I love that because I think that's what entrepreneurship is all about. It's about being innovative and creative and finding new ways to grow in that market.
Absolutely. Now, I want to take some questions from our audience who is watching across all the different social media platforms. And I want to start here with LinkedIn. We have a question from Kenneth about recipes. And this is a neat one. What are the top 3 recipes Road Coffee is currently selling? And, you know, maybe if it's not specific recipes, maybe you can tell us about people's interests as far as what they're doing with their coffee and what they're making right now.
Ooh, that's a good question. I would definitely say making cold brew at home is a big hit. And here's a trick for that one. If you don't have like a little cold brew thing you can put in your fridge, you can actually just use a French press. So you can literally just take like a French press like this, put your coffee grounds in, fill it with water, and leave it in your fridge overnight. And it'll taste like delicious cold brew the next day.
I know. I almost wanted to ask you coffee hacks, but I realized I didn't prep you for that. But if you have any, by all means, please do let us know. We have another question here from Joe, who's asking, what are your social media profiles? Joe lives in Toronto, and I'm guessing he's interested in maybe learning more about your business. Can you talk to us about where people can go to check out the company?
Definitely. You can check us out on Instagram at Road Coffee, and our Facebook is Facebook-Road Coffee as well. And our LinkedIn, it's just Road Coffee.
For people who are watching right now who are interested in buying Canadian, because we have just recently heard this from our Prime Minister, where he has encouraged people to buy from Canadian businesses. This country in many ways is fueled and powered by small and medium-sized businesses. So we know that is so important that we continue to do this. Can you talk about the subscription process and how people are able to sign up? Are there any geographic limitations?
That's a great question. So we also are running actually free shipping Canada-wide over $39. So if you buy 2 bags of coffee or more, or a bag of coffee and something else, you're going to hit the free shipping limit and it'll arrive right to your door. Canada Post has been amazing in all this. I just got to give them a shout out. Without them, and of course, we also love Shopify. We launched our new website March 13th, so just before the chaos broke out, and Shopify's been amazing. They actually have been pumping out great features like the local pickup feature. Oh man, they're awesome.
Very cool. So anyone who's watching from across the country is able to order Road Coffee right now, maybe as a gift, and you'll get it delivered to your home. It's good to hear again about those Canadian companies that are stepping up during this time. I recently spoke to Harley Finkelstein from Shopify, and he was talking about the demand for new services. And I'd be curious, before I let you go, what has your experience been as a newish Shopify user as far as how they're managing through this pandemic and helping small businesses like yours?
Honestly, it's been really good. So we were using Shopify before, but we were using that with a mix of another company, and it was causing just challenges with our website. So we ended up switching fully to Shopify, and it's been amazing. We've seen a huge increase in sales, just from like the UX UI and design perspective. And the features and the apps are amazing. That's I think the part that really makes it easy. And again, like their customer service is awesome. I had a question the other day, and instead of spending like 3 hours on the phone, I spent about 20 minutes on the phone, and the Shopify guru was like, you know what, this is taking too long. I'm going to figure it out, and I'll email you with a solution. Like that customer service can't be beat, especially during a time like this.
Very cool. My last question for you, for other small business owners who are watching right now, and we know there are millions of those all across the country, myself included, what advice do you have to them for people who are maybe struggling right now? They're trying to get their businesses up and running, but of course there are challenges. What would you say to them?
I'd say two things, and it's something I've had to do myself. One, remember why you're doing what you do. You know, you started this, you're doing what you're doing right now for a reason. Something led you there. Remember what that is and let that be your fuel. And the other thing is give yourself space and time to be creative. If you feel like your back's up against the wall, you're not sure what your next step is supposed to be, you don't know how to move forward, take some time, clear your head, and let your creativity come back to you.
Excellent. Well, listen, Alicia, it is so nice to chat with you again. It has been way too long since we had a chance to meet in person and you won the Her Turn finale in December. I know we have lots of plans to catch up soon and maybe do some work together in terms of helping on the marketing side with your business. Just remind people one more time where they can go if they want to order some road coffee.
Yeah, check out our website, roadcoffeeco.com, and you can find some bags there and check out more about our story.
Awesome. Listen, thanks for being here. Most importantly, stay safe. I know I'm always going to hear amazing stories of how you are continuing to run your business and really demonstrate that you have that grit to be able to help you survive during this time. And most importantly, I love that you're from Saskatoon, one of the prettiest cities in all of Canada. So thanks for being here, and I'll chat with you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, and thanks to everybody who is watching The Great Canadian Pivot. We appreciate your time. If you like this video and you want people to learn more about Road Coffee and where they can go to order their coffee during this time, please share this video. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you have an idea as well for a business that we should profile on The Great Canadian Pivot, please do let me know. Thanks for watching and stay safe.